right, so we are live. It is 10:30 a.m. New York time zone, and it is 4:30 p.m. in Belgium, as I understand. So time for the webinar. And so today we have a very special company that is special for several reasons. First, Odyseed, today's guest, is a company that was founded by former ex-culture participants. So it's a group of young people who started the company a few years ago. And it was right around the time, as I understand, when they were still students and participating in ex-culture. And so that makes it very personal for us. Second, why it's very special is because the company's product is something that can make the world a better place. So they not only make a fun product that can, that you can play with, or you can wear, or you can drive, as other partners offer, but this one actually kind of helps us deal with the global challenges related to ecology. So the product that they offer allows you to grow your own herbs and vegetables right in your office or room or house. And so it's something that can make you healthier, as well as can make the planet a cleaner place. And we'll talk about that in a minute. Third reason why I like this company so much is because it's a startup, basically. So they are now on the market with a product, but they're a very young company. And so these young individuals who started the company are basically today where many of the current ex-culture participants want to be in a few years. And so we would like to learn more about your company in general, your product, but also about you as a businessman. So, I mean, you are a few years ahead of our participants, and we would like to know, how did you decide to start a business? Do you regret that idea anytime? Do you have any challenges running your own business? What advice would you give to the students who would like to start their own business at some point? What do you wish you knew at the time when you were starting? So things that you can recommend to the students outside the ex-culture challenge, and more in general based on your personal business experience. And so all those things we will discuss today, but I would like to start with the introduction both of the speaker, Giacomo Christensen, as well as ask him to maybe spend a few minutes and talk about the company in general, the history of the company, the products that you offer, whatever else you think the students need to know about Odyseed before they start working on your challenge. Please go ahead.
Of course. Well, thank you very much for the introduction, and thank you for inviting Odyssey to take part in this webinar. We are definitely very excited to be a part of this program. So before giving you an overview of the company, I'd like to start off by saying a few things about me. I began working for Odyssey last September after completing my bachelor's in international business. So I've been a part of the team for approximately 7 months now. Odyseed is a privately owned Belgian startup that was launched in 2014. It is jointly owned by 3 people and is operated by the CEO, who was one of the owners, as well as 3 staff. Owners and 2 out of the 3 staff are French speaking. And as English is my first language, I was asked to front this webinar, sorry. The idea for Odyssey began with the owner's concern that urban people were too dependent on supermarkets for the food they eat. They therefore saw a need for urban people to be able to grow their own food in ways that were feasible within their urban environment and their limited time for healthy food production. Odyssey at Eden is a first step towards promoting urban agriculture to urban people, and is also the company's first product. We are also in the early stages of developing additional products, including a smart version of Odyssey Eden. And my role as marketing advisor consists of various activities. The first, it includes product promotion in different market outlets, such as online as well as in stores. The second is writing marketing material for the website, product improvement in response to buyer comments and complaints. The fourth is meeting with suppliers of inputs, and the last but not least is that I am more or less involved in the development of new products. I want to move on and talk about the product, Odyssey Eden. So Odyssey Eden is the name we chose for the indoor garden. We are unsure as to how consumers will react to this name in English-speaking markets, but I guess time will tell, and we'll see with feedback what consumers and customers think. It enables people to grow aromatic herbs in their own home without the usual constraints of maintenance and time, as well as in small urban spaces. The idea for this product came from how we all know how hard it is to keep herbs alive and how often they die from too much or too little care. People are also looking for ways to produce fresh and organic herbs that are healthier for them and for the environment. And on top of that, why limit yourself to what supermarkets offer when you can choose from a much wider range of herb varieties? So growing your own herbs can also reduce your carbon footprint by 1, minimizing transportation, 2, packaging, and 3, packaging disposal. We have clients, and these include, the first group is busy people who enjoy cooking with fresh and organic ingredients. The second are people who don't have access to a garden or terrace. The third are people who are often away from home. The fourth are people who find that their potted herbs die from underwatering. And the fifth is families encouraging their children to become more interested and accustomed to nature. So one of the advantages is that once your herbs have reached their full adult size, which usually takes between 4 to 6 weeks, you can harvest repeatedly for about 3 to 5 months. So that can be quite an interesting factor. So how does the Odyseed Eden work? It's a very simple 3-step process. The first is add the included seeds to the substrate. The second is fill up the basin with water to the indicated level. And the third is plug in and turn on the provided LED light. So really, it remains extremely simple, and the rest will simply take care of itself.
Would you happen to have a product nearby that you can show us?
Here.
Oh, okay. I only saw pictures, so that's the real thing. Wow.
I'll show it a little bit later on in the presentation. But anyways, when you need to add water, the light is down 2 to 3 weeks, giving plenty of time to go on holiday without having to edit. And in contrast to the containers and light for the product, which are manufactured in Shenzhen, China, the substrate and seeds are local. So we have, for us, it's fairly important that those 2 factors are 100% local. And DCM, a Belgian gardening supply company, have provided our customers with an organic substrate that is specifically designed for the cultivation of herbs and includes marine algae for optimum acidity, as well as lava powder to avoid deficiencies in plant nutrients. So the nutrients are gradually released to ensure successful growth and flowering stage. And the organic substrate also includes bacteria, as bacterial activity is indispensable for the development of healthy and vigorous roots. So DCM's organic substrate therefore not only creates a favorable environment for your herbs, but also protects them against mold and other types of fungi. Seeds, on the other hand, come from Sluis Garden, which is a Dutch seed manufacturer. Each indoor garden currently comes with 2 varieties of basil. We have the first is sweet lemon basil, and the second is cinnamon basil. It's just kind of to allow the customers to, as soon as they purchase the product, to start, growing their own aromatic herbs straight away. The method of delivery we use is by plane, and usually takes between 2 to 3 days at a cost of $10 per indoor garden. And the optimal method of delivery would be by ship, as it's only $1 in contrast to $10 per indoor garden. But to have access, we would need to sell at least 1,000 pieces. So it's a much bigger amount. So now I'm going to discuss the pricing and the marketing strategy. Odyssey began to sell indoor gardens via our website approximately 4 months ago. At the same time, we promoted indoor gardens over 4 weekends in about 10 to 15 bio stores in Brussels to raise awareness, as well as further test the market, because we were unsure about the potential of the product. To further promote the product, we advertised it as well on Facebook, Instagram, and created several instructional videos on YouTube. We also sent our products to about 5 bloggers, the product, and write about it. And the initial retail price in both market outlets was 95 euros. That was the initial price that we set. And then we reduced the online price to 79.99 for the Christmas holidays. And in bio stores, we also reduced the price to 70 euros since we were selling for cash and often people didn't have 80 euros on hand. We ended up only selling about 10 to 15 indoor gardens in bio stores and stopped soon after. And online, up until now, we've sold approximately 40 per month. So there's definitely room for improvement. Most of the online purchases were in France, the UK, Belgium, and Holland, although we did have 2 that were sold in the US. So for us, that was quite a big, quite important. And starting from next week, and this is something that we are quite excited about over here at Odyseed, is that our product will be available on Amazon France. that should be fairly interesting. And now for the marketing problems that we've encountered in the past couple of months. So 2 out of the 5 bloggers were unwilling to write an article due to the poor quality of some of the seeds, as well as mold forming in the substrate. And this resulted in very uneven herb growth. And we changed the substrate and the seeds and have not received any more complaints. So, I mean, for now, it's a relatively good sign. The bloggers also experienced issues with the water indicator on the LED light not functioning properly for one reason or another. We're still unsure about it. And other buyers have also complained about the same problem with the water indicator. So clearly this is an issue. Now, regarding the challenges, the first problem we are currently facing is finding ways to attract customers to our website. And so this is exactly why we decided to sell through Amazon, was because, you know, although it should attract more consumer attention, and we really are hoping it does, it's important for us to acquire more reviews and ratings, as it's a product that has quite a lot of competition. And this is where it makes it quite hard for us. There are numerous competitors such as Click and Grow, Seed Pantry, but one in particular, pronouncing this, Aero Garden. They have a fully hydroponic system with a larger LED light that appears to grow faster. And its retail price on Amazon is at €79.95. So it's very close to what we are currently selling our product for. And the second challenge is finding a response to the problem with the water indicator, which is right now it's something that we are dealing with. And the third, but not least, is finding an appropriate and reasonable price for the product. So basically, Odyseed, we are interested in finding ways to promote the company. We are interested in finding an alternative pricing strategy. We are interested in identifying promising new markets and finding new ways to successfully gain customers' attention. And we are honestly open to any ideas you may have and look forward to hearing what you say. Thank you.
Wow, that's a very concise presentation. Thank you so much. I've received quite a few questions online via email, and so if I may, I kind of group them a little bit by the topic. So if I may, can we go question by question and just try to address them one by one?
Of course.
So there are a number of questions about the industry. So who are the main players? I guess, who are your competition? How does it work in general? Where people buy those kinds of products? Can you tell us a little bit about the kind of context?
Okay, so competitors, there are, like, I mean, I can name about, there's, as I said, there's Click and Grow, there's Seed Pantry, there's Planterie, there's Lilo, there's Aero Garden. I mean, there are a lot of different competitors, and they slightly vary in their smart gardens. I mean, they have slightly different technology, things like that. And I mean, the problem with that is that some of the competitors, they sell their products for cheaper, and their products are, I wouldn't say better quality, but they're more efficient, as in some of the products, they have sort of bigger LED lights, and when you're trying to grow aromatic herbs, it's very important, since, you know, the lights can really make a difference in the growth process and accelerate that process. So for us, it's really a matter of you know, trying to see, okay, so this is our competition, you know, what can we do in order to either be at the same level or be even better than the competition? And so right now we're facing difficulties, and that's why we're excited to be a part of this program, because, you know, we're looking for any help that you may give us.
And that brings us to the next question, strengths and weaknesses compared to competition. So if you had to compare yourself to others, what would you say are your strengths or advantages over competition, and where do you think you still lack and you wish you had in order to be more competitive?
Of course. Well, I mean, you know, that one of our strengths is something that we believe in quite a bit, is that, you know, the competitors, what we dislike in the competitors' products, or we're not a huge fan of, dislike is a strong word, is basically that like herbs, and it grows fine, but they have to buy the seeds from the company, and the prices that the company sets for those seeds is relatively high. It's you know, it's about €20 for plants, so it's incredibly expensive. And on top of that, they're limited to a variety that's quite limited. In theory, they only have maybe like 2 types of basil, and that's it. Whereas with our product, people, they can literally go to a gardening store, their local supermarket, they can buy whichever seed they want, and they can just garden, and then straight away it'll start growing. And it's the same thing for the substrate. I mean, on our website, we provide seeds as well as substrate, but our customers and people who buy our products are more than free to purchase their own seeds, purchase their own substrate, and really personalize their indoor garden exactly as they want. So I guess that for us, that's a strength. Now, a weakness is definitely for us is this LED light. It's not very strong. It's about 8 watts, which is 600 lumens. And in theory, although it does make a bit of a difference, it doesn't growth process as much as we'd hope for. Simply because it's just not powerful enough. So that's where competitors, they have kind of a step forward, and they have these smart gardens with much bigger LED lights, and it honestly it appears at least to make a significant difference in the acceleration of the growth.
So it seems like most of your competition uses kind of the vacuum cleaner model. With the old vacuum cleaners, the machine itself was not that expensive, but the bags that you need to buy, that's where the company made money. So it's the same thing with the seeds, right? I guess.
Yeah.
What prevents you then from installing a bigger LED light on your gardens?
What prevents us? Well, for now, it's just we've come up with a model, and as I said before, we're coming out with new products. And one of the products that we are going to come out with is we're hoping to come out with the same version, but this time a smart version. So it's a version that's connected to your smartphone with an application. And on top of that, we're hoping to, because in this smart garden here, you can only grow 2 aromatic herbs at the same time. Whereas in our new version, we're hoping to expand to 3 or 5. And in addition to that, also adding a much bigger LED light in order to, accelerate the growth process.
That's so cool. Can you also talk a little bit, and I have a few questions here, about your production? So you mentioned that you make your products in China, but how did you make that decision? How did you make arrangements with the manufacturer? What challenges did you face in the process? As I understand, it's a fairly sophisticated product, and so if somebody else, our students, wanted to make something of that kind, how would they go about it? I mean, it seems like production is a major challenge, and you seem to have solved it.
I mean, regarding the manufacturing, I'm not exactly the best person to ask, but what I can say is that the main issue that we had with our manufacturer was the delivery, was the method of delivery, and that was something that really, I mean, because of that, we were faced with fair challenge of saying, okay, well, how exactly are we going to do it? Because definitely by ship is the best method of delivery. But since we can't, we're definitely not selling 1,000 pieces or more. We can't seem to go with that option. So the plane takes less time, but it's a lot more expensive, and that impacts our business. So clearly, regarding that aspect, but more specifically regarding the manufacturer, unfortunately, I can't say more.
So in terms of shipping, how does it work now? Do they make the product and ship it to Belgium, and then you distribute it from Belgium, or do they send them directly to the customers from China?
Well, basically now with Amazon, they're sent from Shenzhen, and they're sent directly to the Amazon warehouse in France, and then Amazon takes care of the whole delivery. They take care of everything. So we just send it to their warehouse, and then after they take care of the rest.
That's very
so for us, it's a process. And the thing is that since we're only selling these products online, so our website as well as on Amazon, it's not taking too much of our time, and it allows us to work on the new products that we'd like to come out with soon.
That is actually very smart. If I may share my experience with Xculture, as you know, we don't really ship anything, but there is one thing that we do have to ship, and those are the certificates and recommendation letters. And so often students approach us and say, can I get a hard copy of the certificate, or can I get a recommendation letter sent here or there? And we even added a substantial, in my opinion, substantial fee for shipping and handling. But honestly, every time somebody orders one of those items, it terrifies me, because even though we kind of make money is our own word, we charge about $40 if you want to get a hard copy. But honestly, it takes so much time to print that thing, to put it in the frame, to put it in the envelope, to write the address, to bring it to the post office, and to ship it, that in the end, those $10 of what we make kind of presumably profit, it's definitely not worth it. It takes so much time. It literally takes about an hour to package one of those products and ship it out. And so it's kind of nice to hear that you don't have to deal with that issue, and that you can focus only on marketing and production, and don't have to deal with those boxes and envelopes and shipping.
No. That's something that we had to deal with for a certain amount of time. I mean, when we were going to bio stores all over Brussels, and we were trying to raise brand awareness. So we were staying in these supermarkets, and we were trying to, attract people's attention, be like, okay, so this is a new product. Have you ever heard of Odyssey? This is what we're trying to do. This is what we're trying to accomplish. What do you think? You ask their feedback. And basically, absolutely, you're right. We've had similar experiences since it can be quite a lot of work, and so therefore we decided to switch from selling in stores and just do it online.
Makes perfect sense. Now, Theodora, Safik, Philip, if you guys have any questions, Mina, Laura, Josh, feel free to unmute your microphones and ask them. In fact, Josh here has a question. Josh, do you want to unmute your microphone and ask it live? Josh, do you want to? All right, I'll get the question. Oh, okay, go ahead, Josh. Josh, your microphone is muted.
Oh, are we good now?
Go ahead. Yes.
My question is, do you have any markets in the U.S. at all, or do you know of any competitors that you currently have in the United States?
Right now, we haven't expanded to the United States. No, right now it's more France and Belgium.
Actually, here are a few questions about that. So it's a very good point that Josh brought up. So markets. So we have a few questions about markets where you currently sell. You mentioned France, but do you sell anywhere else? Second, can people from other countries order the product? Like, for example, in the United States, if I wanted to order it, can I just go to your website and buy it? Or do you now limit the market? And then more importantly, what markets are you interested in? So one of the questions in your challenge was, what are the most promising markets? So do you have any preference? Do you have any reservations? Are you willing to sell anywhere, or you have only a particular area that you're interested in?
Look, we basically, we've sold in, right now, up until now, we've sold in countries such as Belgium, Holland, France, and then we've sold to in the US, as I've already said. We're definitely completely open. We're not restricted to any markets. So if you have any advice or things like that, that's completely fine. But it's just the customer goes on our website. They can order a smart garden, whether they live in Morocco or in Canada or in the US or in the world. It's just the delivery fee is going to increase. The further away they are, obviously, the higher the delivery fee will be. But yes, absolutely. If they live far away and they want to order the product, we can deliver the product to them. That's not a problem. And we are also interested in expanding on an international level. We're just not exactly sure which markets to, and so therefore, we'd be happy to hear your advice and maybe if you guys have any ideas or anything of the sort. So yes.
And talking about that, including price and shipping, there is a question from Samantha Spearman. She's asking, how much does it cost to make the product, and what is your current margin? And again, I'm not sure if you're even at liberty to disclose that information. But then also shipping cost. How much would it cost to ship that product to a different country? Would that change the price a lot, or just a little bit?
I'm not necessarily allowed to disclose that type of information, but
that's fair enough.
Clearly the shipping is an issue, especially if the client lives far away.
I can imagine a product of that size, if you had to ship it to the United States. I know if I were shipping from the United States to Europe, a sizable item like that, it probably would cost me at least $50 and possibly more depending on the mode of shipping. So it can literally increase the price by about 50%, right?
Yes, of course. And then after you have different careers, you have, UPS, things like that, like some are cheaper than others, but overall, whichever one you use is still going to be fairly expensive, and that's obviously a constraint.
Now, why did you choose to work with Amazon France? I understand proximity and possibly language, but were there any other reasons? And why not, for example, working with Amazon United States, for example, or I don't know, whatever other countries? And are you planning to work with other countries?
We're definitely willing to work with other countries. Yes, we are. We decided to work with Amazon France just because, as I said, the majority of the people in the team at Odyssey are French speaking, so for them it's easier. And also, it's just a question of, for now, we're still testing the market. This product is only being available for the past couple of months. So in theory, we wanted to start off with Amazon France, see how it goes. If we see that sales are increasing, that things are going well, that we're getting more and more positive reviews and feedback, then I think that we'd be definitely willing to expand to Amazon Italy, Spain, even the US, Canada, whichever options there are. But for now, it was just a question of starting with something that was relatively close to us, communicating a language that we were comfortable in. And then after, definitely, as I said, if we see progress, then we'd be willing to expand.
Now, there is a question from Angie Robinson. She says, I see herbs only. What about larger vegetables such as cherry tomatoes, peppers, and salad greens? Do you have future plans for them?
With the model that we have that's out for now, it's only for aromatic herbs. But it's very likely that for the next models that we do come out with, we'll be able to grow things like cherry tomatoes and things like that. Because in addition to the app, so the connectivity, the smart garden, as well as the bigger LED light, what we like to put is a function where we can the timer on and off for the light, so that it can go from flowering to the growth stage. Sorry, from the growth to the flowering stage. And basically, this would be a lot more. It created a much better environment for vegetables and cherry tomatoes and things of this sort, since it would have that that factor where you can, from your smartphone, you can automatically just turn the light on and off and actually create a pattern. But with this one here, no, it's only aromatic herbs. We haven't tried growing cherry tomatoes, but I'm not sure if it would be a great idea. I don't know how well it would grow. But that's to come. All of that is to come.
I wonder if pollination will be an issue, because I assume for some of the fruits or vegetables, you literally need to pollinate them in order to actually get the berry, right? And so I'm not sure how that work. Potentially could be a challenge if you have only one plant in your house. So
yeah, of course. That's definitely another challenge, yes.
There is another question also from Angie Robinson, but also a related question from Leonardo Ballone. And that's about promotion. So Angie is asking about trade shows. Are you attending any trade shows for promotion? Leonardo is asking about partnerships with big retailers, for example, in the United States. It seems that they're implying if people knew about your product, they would buy it. And so there is a need to basically put them out there. So how do you promote your products at this time?
Right now, as I said, the promoting material is more on social media campaigns. So it's through Facebook, it's through Instagram, it's through YouTube. We've created an account on all three social platforms, and we're busy uploading sort of content every day on a daily or regular basis. We don't have any plans to create partnerships with retailers in the US, for example.
Why is that? So you are just against the idea at all, or you just don't believe it will work?
Oh no, we're not against the idea at all. For now, it's if anything, it's just a little bit too soon. Like we haven't seen enough potential in order for us to tell ourselves like, okay, yes, this is it. Clearly, people are like 100% interested. Let's create a partnership with a retailer in the US and let's start selling these in mass production. We haven't gone to that stage yet. It's just a little bit too early, but we are definitely very keen in creating partnerships, in selling on the international market. That it interests us.
So if one of our students approach a store, maybe they have a relative working there, or maybe they own a store, or maybe they know somebody at a store chain, and said, well, there is this Belgian company, they make this product, this is how much it cost. And then the store says, actually, no, we want to try to sell them. So the question is, first, would that be a good idea to try? And second, what is your production capacity? So if the store said, sure, send us 1,000 pieces, we'll try and see how it goes. Would you be able to do that? Would you be interested in doing that?
Look, I mean, we'd definitely be interested. And if the store did ask us for 1,000 pieces, I'm sure that we'd be able to provide, as long as there was demand for the product, of course. But yes, absolutely, that would be something of interest to us. Yes.
Yeah, Mina, Michelle, I see you have questions here on the side. Since you are right here, feel free to unmute your microphone and ask in person. So don't be shy. Michelle, do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. Hi. I'm in the UK right now, and I just wanted to ask if there's a certain amount of investment that you're willing to put forward for the expansion, or do we have to stay under a buffer, or can we just justify our costs
I mean, look, we're a startup, so clearly, we're still fairly underdeveloped. We're in the phase of progressing and expanding bit by bit. It's taken time. We're only about 3 years old, so it's a very young business. So, with that in regards, we don't have a lot of investment, a lot of funding, things like that. We try to do our best to more or less, make sure that we're still remaining in profit. But yes, it's just the fact that we are a startup. We're not a completely established global company. So, in our aspect.
I was going to go to Mina with his question, but he just put a note saying that was his question, and so it's gotten now answered.
Sorry, just a follow-up question from the one I had before. I just wanted to ask, since you are a startup and you've only been in the business for 3 years, would it be okay if we justify our costs and also possibly find potential investment ideas for you as well? Yeah.
Absolutely, would be great.
Good question.
Any other?
So yeah, but would that be a good idea if they tried to find some investors or, I don't know, partners?
It would. If you can find investors, if you can find people that are interested in purchasing smart gardens and putting them in the stores, then that would be great. Really, it would be. I mean, right now we're just open to any ideas that you may have. If you say, look, okay, we have like a series of these investors who are very interested in your product, we'll be like, okay, well, great. Let's move this process along. Let's get it started. I mean, that's the kind of mentality that we have here at Odyssey. We want to progress. We on customer feedback, on complaints, like if our customers aren't happy, we'll adapt. As I said, like we had some complaints about the substrate and the seeds. We changed all of that. We made sure that it was local. I mean, like, as I said, startups, so we're definitely a lot in the learning phase, but we do our best to make sure that our customers are satisfied. So yes, if you do have any investors that are interested, I'd be glad to hear about it.
I see Christopher just joined us. We just had another webinar literally an hour ago, and Christopher was very active. So Christopher, if you have any new questions for a new presenter here, go ahead and feel free to interrupt and ask questions anytime. For now, I have a series of questions about, let's call it HR, so human resources. So in the challenge, you talk about a possibility of using some sort of local staff, either as sales representatives or some other, feet on the ground in a sense. And so can you explain to us how that might work? So either if we have a student who says, I think I can help you sell this product, and I think I can even maybe, I don't know, go around to my friends and offer them the product and stuff like that. Or maybe there is somebody who says, I would like to work with you on a more permanent basis. Would you be open to those ideas? And if so, what would be the steps the students need to take? Should they contact you first and then discuss how that might work? Should they go to their friends and try to offer them the product and see what happens? Do you have any preferences as to the actual procedure, how that might proceed?
Preferences, I'm not exactly sure. I mean, I'd definitely say keep us in the loop, keep us updated. But if you have a hunch for, I don't know, going up to, going to a store or going to any potential investor and, sort of making the first step, that I guess that would be okay. As long as you just, pass it by us sooner, at some point. But no, I wouldn't say that we have any particular preferences. Right now, it's just a question of listening to what you guys have to say and seeing, the options that you guys make available to us in theory.
Josh has a very interesting question. Josh, do you want to unmute your microphone and ask it again? I think that's a very good one.
My question would be, if you were able to land a deal with a store here in the United States, is there some room to wiggle on the pricing as far as large bulk orders?
Of course, absolutely. Right now, the price that we have, the retail price is $79.99 on Amazon is fairly high. So yes, absolutely. I guess if there was a retail partner who was willing to buy sort of much bigger quantities, we'd definitely be able to move up and down in the price and work something out, in order to make something, a price that's completely reasonable and that people are happy with. Yes, absolutely.
All right. So again, if anyone has questions, go ahead and ask them. I have a few questions about logistics and trade regulations. So one, you talked a little bit about the shipping options you have, boat versus a plane, but also, are there any like certification requirements in some countries that you had to deal with? Do you need to get any licenses? Are there any import taxes? Anything else related to moving this product from China or Belgium into a new country? Or you just sell, send, and that's it?
I mean, there are import taxes, and I mean we have to go borders and things. So there are fees that are definitely related to delivery. And since our method of delivery is by plane instead of by boat, they're clearly higher than they should be. And that's exactly why we're planning. I mean, we're trying to find ways to sell in bigger quantities so that we can also buy in bigger quantities and make increase the profit margin for us. So in theory, it's better. But yes, in terms of the delivery, it's a fairly big cost. I wouldn't say our product definitely is more expensive than the delivery, but the delivery is still fairly big. Yes.
Makes sense, especially if it has to go overseas. Now, you did talk about your promotion, and you said that you try to be present on Facebook, and I know I follow you there. I know you're on Twitter, and then obviously on the website, people can go directly there. But so how successful has it been so far? So do you get enough traffic? And then obviously other questions related to that would be, would you consider other channels of promotion? What would you be interested in? What would you expect from the students? I assume the ideal promotion channel would be some sort of a like mailing list of maybe, I don't know, in-house herb growing enthusiasts, or maybe some sort of professional associations, or maybe some sort of, I don't know, like Facebook groups perhaps that you can get access to. And so I imagine if students know of any of those, they probably should share that information with you, because it's free advertisement directly to the target audience. But can you talk about that a little bit more? Again, what you do currently, what your preferences are, what your expectations are, and where students would help most?
Well, look, there's on our website for the past couple of months, we really haven't had a lot of traffic, and that has been generating some problems because we have difficulty, with informing customers about Odyssey and telling them there's a smart garden that's available that can be fake with other competitors, and therefore we have less views, less traffic on our website, and that's in part the reason why we decided to sell through Amazon. Regarding sort of social platforms and all of that, Instagram is the one where we've had the most success. We've had a fairly aggressive marketing approach with Instagram, and for now it seems to be paying off. It seems to be working. Apart from that, I'd say that the second most successful is Facebook. I mean, we've been posting articles, we've been posting, sort of days in which we'd be present at different, just, doing demos at stores, things like that. But it's mainly Instagram. I would say that we're definitely very open to new promotional ways to sort of further promote the product, the Odyssey to Eden. Matter of us, all we've done is it's all been online, it's all been on social media, and it's been working up until a certain point. So we've kind of gotten, sort of at a certain level, and now we're trying to find ways to go even further, and we're not exactly sure how to do that. So
have you tried creating Odyssey communities? People posting photos of their herbs, and maybe even having some sort of a competition who's going to grow the best, the most herbs, and maybe offering some sort of either prizes, or I don't even know what that might be, but I imagine there would be lots of people online willing to play this game in a sense.
Of course, and we tried to create an Odyssey community or forum where those who did buy the product could go online on our website and comment and say, okay, like I've made this much progress with my basil or my thyme, like really anything, and then after they could discuss it and they could send you pictures and ask questions, things of the sort. But for now, it's just the issue is that we haven't had enough purchases, and therefore we wouldn't have enough people commenting and sort of being active on the forum or on the Odyssey community. So what we've done is we've created we have like kind of a list of emails, and basically we send out occasional newsletters about the product, about different things that are happening with Odyssey in order to keep our customers up to date with what's going on with their startup. But it's difficult since we don't have a lot of traction, we don't have a lot of traffic. It is a clear challenge.
Yeah, it seems like you have the challenge of attracting the first movers. And if I may share from my experience, so one, for example, Tesla, the electrical car manufacturer. So they had some difficulties, getting this initial community built up. And so with their Model 3, what they did was, not Model 3, Model S, what they did here in the United States to get that initial, crowd, they said if you buy it now, you will have charges for free for the rest of the life of the car. And I'm not sure if you're willing to offer something like that, but it might be something like, if you buy now, you will get, seeds for free for the rest of your life, other than maybe shipping and handling. Another community, in fact, with my phone, so we have this new company called Republic Wireless. And so it's a new telecommunications company here in North Carolina. And I was one of the very first, I think, 100 or 1,000 customers, I don't know. But I now have a lifetime status of that beta customer. And so my annual plan is a little cheaper than that for everyone, because I was willing to take the risk when the company was formed and to become one of the first users. And so they have also like online community where we can share and brag about our things. So I'm not sure if it would be a good idea for you guys, but maybe we should think about some sort of like, extra promo or extra incentives for the first, 1,000, 10,000, I don't know what the number should be, to create that initial buzz, initial community, so that they can then promote it among their friends. I'm not sure how good that idea is, but it seems reasonable.
No. I mean, it's a great idea, and we definitely did consider it. We thought about it. We thought about basically, sort of our customers. They could get a subscription, a monthly subscription. They could pay a certain fee, and then after we would send them just like a different sort of organic materials that would sort of give them motivation to grow. Sort of different seeds and different sort of materials in order, gardening materials in a way. So to kind of urge them and encourage them to grow their own herbs and vegetables, for example. But these are all great ideas, but right now we've been having trouble doing is putting them into action and actually making them happen. That's been more our challenge.
And actually, that brings me to the next question: pricing. It seems to me that the biggest potential, and we have a few questions of that kind, the biggest potential is not so much in adjusting the price itself, but in coming up with a pricing strategy that may make it more interesting for people both to join but also to stay a customer. And so you just mentioned a subscription model, and it seems to me that for something like what you offer, it may be a more viable pricing strategy than just a fixed one-time price. In fact, I know Amazon in the United States, and I'm not sure if they do it in France, just about anything you buy these days, you can choose a subscribe option. Like when you buy, batteries, light bulbs, razors, anything. So they give you a slight discount, but you can get that product shipped to you like every month or every few months or whatever frequency you choose. And since with your product, obviously seeds have to be replanted all the time, I assume there might be some sort of a model where you pay some sort of an annual fee, but you get the seeds shipped to you on a regular basis. Maybe also some sort of like repeat customer discounts, or maybe some sort of club membership or something like that. Have you considered any of those options?
We have we've definitely thought of refill options. We have sort of a regular refill option, and then a larger refill option, and it's available to be purchased. And we were also thinking about as you say, doing it through a subscription type basis. But for now, we haven't had. I mean, the purchases that we have had are for the products. They aren't really for either the substrate or the seeds. And in a way, it's kind of what we expected, because one of the ways we're promoting this product is really emphasizing the fact that people can use their own seeds and their own substrate, and they can literally buy it from their local gardening store or their supermarket just 100 meters. But in that factor, we can't be upset about that, and then after advertising in this way. So it's really a question of just we make it available, and then if they prefer it, they can very easily purchase it on our website. We're happy to provide them with that service.
Mina has a question, and we'll get to you in a second, Mina. But first, a question from Tiffany Stanton. She sent it by email. In fact, she has two questions. One, what materials are used to build the Eden? And two, are you planning to add more herbs to your offerings?
Sorry, I didn't quite get to the
The
second
second one,
question.
so at this time you said that you offer only 2 types of herbs. Are you planning to offer more?
Oh, of course. Well, okay, fine. The material is made out of plastic, basically. It's just plastic. And as I said, the current smart garden, you can only have 2 aromatic herbs, and the initial sort of included in the box are 2 varieties of seeds. But further sort of new products that will come out with, hopefully they'll be bigger, so they'll allow you to grow between 3 to 5 aromatic herbs, for example. Because we're also seeing that with our competitors, they're starting to make indoor gardens that are much bigger, so they can grow up to 6 to 9 plants, for example. And that's a clear benefit, because when you're restricted to 2, and then you see competitors and they can have a lot more variation. They can grow mint, they can grow thyme, they can grow basil, they can grow coriander. Then you really are growing your very own indoor garden. So we're just seeing as things come along, and we're trying to stay up to date as much as possible.
Yeah. Now, Mina has a great question. Mina, do you want to unmute your microphone and ask it so everyone can hear it? Mina, are you still here? All right, I'll read the question, so I'm not sure if he's able to talk. So do you have Salesforce? Yeah, he says he's in the library and cannot talk. Okay, that's fine. I'll read it. Do you have Salesforce or doing any marketing campaign, booths, or any social media? And kind of talked about that. I'm not sure if you want to add anything beyond that. So Salesforce or any other ways of promotion?
At this point, there's not that much more that I can add, unfortunately.
Right, makes sense. Now, we have a little time left, and I have a bunch of questions that are kind of more personal in nature, and I'm not sure if you're comfortable answering them, but so a few students asking here, can you describe your business day, your work day, how much work it is to start a business, do you have much free time, what are the biggest challenges, and questions of that kind. So I guess that's more for you personally, not so much about the product.
Of course. Well, look, my typical work day is fairly varied. It really sort of, I wake up in the morning, go to work, and then it alters between research, writing promotion material, meeting with sort of future partners, things of the sort. And sort of, I do love what I do. I really enjoy it. So if there is a need for me to work extra hours, I'll definitely put those hours into my work. But if not, I can very easily balance my work life with my private life. It's not much of an issue. And how do you say, regarding, it's just something, I mean, I'm very interested in urban agriculture, and this whole first step towards urban agriculture with this indoor garden that allows you to grow your own aromatic herbs. I find that just something that that entices me and motivates me to go to work and keep on going. But it's just a question of whether or not, because for me it's really one aspect of work that I enjoy is just research, things like that. But the aspect that I enjoy a lot more is meeting people and talking and getting their feedback and seeing exactly what they think of it. And I've been doing a lot of that, and that I prefer much more, and that's what I truly enjoy. And I guess that's what I really like about this this job, I would say.
So what are the biggest challenges of working at a startup as opposed to an established company? And there is a question, do you ever wish to have a job at an established company instead?
Well, I mean, there's a huge difference. What I can say is that, like, I mean, apart from this job where I've been working for 7 months, I mean, I'm basically fresh out of college. And so I really don't have much business experience, but one of the things that I mean by that is that you don't have people to do, the type of jobs that you don't necessarily enjoy doing, sort of recopying pages or scanning, things like that, like, because you have no one else to do and you're only in a small team of like 3 or 5 people, all of those jobs you have to do them yourself. So in a way, like, it's not necessarily always as much fun. But what I can say is that I work in an environment where it's a lot smaller, since I get to know the people on a more personal as well as professional level. And for me, it's more exciting to work for a startup than for sort of an already established business. But of course, that depends very much on the person. But I can just say that yes, it's if I can give you any advice, is that be very well prepared, because if you do want to start your own business, to a lot of work. So yes, it's just me, sort of processing all that information. And when I came out of university, I wasn't necessarily aware of that. I was like, yeah, okay, fine, creating a business, you have to write a business plan, you have to write your mission statement, all those things, but I didn't exactly count every single aspect and every single thing that you do need to do in order to not only just set up a name for yourself and, like a society, but really start having customers and start getting your brand awareness on a either local, national, or international market. So
there is a question from Angie Robinson. She's asking, are you certified organic? Then are those seeds that you're using, are they genetically modified or not?
What I can say is that the substrate is definitely certified organic, and the manufacture of seeds, for now we vary. We do sometimes we seeds, and otherwise we include non-organic seeds. The last seeds that we included were organic, and that's since they were organic, I'm not sure if it had anything to do with anything, but basically we're getting some negative feedbacks on the quality of the seeds, so we switched to non-organic, and now we're thinking about switching back to organic in order to make it like a fully bio experience.
Somebody apparently was trying to say something. Somebody wants to ask a question, guys, or it was just a technical? All right, so we are almost out of time, but there is one question that's been asked 3 times online now via email. Again, if you don't want to answer it, I guess you don't have to. But 3 people asked if you're married, whatever that means, and I'm not sure why they. What would be?
No, I'm not married.
Still available. All right. So
actually, I had one small question before we all leave. I know that the report is quite it's a lot of research, and it's just more of like market analysis and, in terms of going into a new place, new country. What would make that report stand out for you? What would catch your eye, and, what are you looking for?
That is a very good question.
That's an excellent question. What am I looking for? I'm really looking for Odyssey. Like our team, we've approached this product in a certain way, and right now what we're looking for is for someone or for a group of people to approach our product in a completely way, and that's what interests us, because it's exactly, well, at least according to me, it's by doing that we find different promotional ways, we find different pricing strategies, things of the sort, and that's where I'd be curious to see what you guys have to say and what you guys think.
Josh, you wanted to ask a question? Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to be clear. I know you said that when the box usually comes with the 2 types of seeds. If I were to go out and buy the different types of herbs, work with your system?
Of course, you can use any type of seeds. It's not a problem, and the same thing goes for the substrate.
Okay, cool.
Now, going back to Laura's question, or I think it was Michelle, what would the company look in the report? And so I'm not sure how they would answer that, but since I've read literally hundreds, if not thousands of them by now, let me tell you what I would recommend, and then maybe Giacomo may either confirm or refute that information or statement. So some of the things that I see a lot and I think are not very useful are unnecessary detailed descriptions of the countries. So one of the questions is to conduct a market analysis, and what I sometimes see is that people literally copy like entire Wikipedia articles about the country and put it in the report. Anything from population size to GDP per capita to political systems, whatever they can dig up. And so there is nothing inherently wrong with that, but at the same time, much of that information is not directly useful, and at the same time readily available online. And I'm not sure if the busy CEO of the company will have the time and interest to read, as I said, anything and everything that you found on Wikipedia about the country, pages and pages. In my opinion, it would be much more efficient and much more useful if you only described the aspects of the country's economy or politics or culture that is directly relevant to this particular product. So for example, if let's say to buy this product, there needs to be some certain level of income, maybe you mentioned that. Or maybe if there are some cultural or traditional types of aspects that are important as to how people perceive this kind of product, talk about that. But at the same time, there is really no need to talk about the climate maybe, or maybe whatever the other things that you want to discuss. If it's not something you will use to form an advice, or to come up with an advice with respect to strategy or pricing or marketing, probably no need to waste time on that. Another thing that I wish I saw, and I don't really see a lot, is practical guidelines in a sense. For example, when it comes to promotion or marketing, I often see, in fact, almost every report I see, they would say, use social media to promote a product. That is not really an actionable advice, because first of all, most companies, including Odyssey, obviously think about it and even try to do it. So simply telling them use Facebook, it's nothing new. They've thought about that. What would make it useful is if you provide a very specific step-by-step strategy or guidelines. Like, for example, advertise on Facebook. This is how you place an ad. This is what you should put in the ad. These are the search words that you should use. This is how much it will cost you. So if you give those necessary details, it actually could be useful and usable. Because simply saying, increase your presence in social media, I mean, it's more of a goal rather than a strategy. So it's more of a kind of wish rather than the step-by-step guidelines. So if you make any suggestions of that kind, it would be important that you first do the necessary research and see how it could be done, like where you go, how much it will cost, what you should say, and then describe them in sufficient detail so that the manager of the company could literally take your idea and then follow your guidelines and execute that strategy, because otherwise it's just too general. And I'm not sure if you agree with me, Giacomo, here, but what would be your take on those issues?
No, look, after everything you said, I definitely do agree with what you have said. I think that it's true. And I think that is exactly what we should be looking for.
I would also add, I would also add that it may be a good idea to try to test your strategy before you make that advice. Like, for example, there was somebody, I'm not sure if it was Josh or somebody else, who said, why don't you form partnerships with local stores or store chains? Well, it may be a good idea. It seems like a good idea, but it may be a nice, first step to stop by one of those stores, or maybe call their head office in your country if you want, and ask them, how those things work. I mean, would you be interested? Is that something that you would even consider? There is a good chance you will not be able to get hold of the person who makes those decisions. But if you do, you will get instant feedback on whether or not that idea is viable. Because it may sound like a good idea while we sit here in our offices or wherever you are in the library. But then once you start talking to those people, you realize, oh, actually, you know what? It's not even close. That's not how they work. Maybe those decisions are made in a completely different way. Or they will tell you, sure, yeah, give us more. Maybe we want to try. And then you know that it's not just an idea. It's actually something that you checked and it potentially could work. So I would recommend to reach out to the decision makers or people that you are targeting and see what they have to say to kind of get at least initial feedback, initial indication as to whether or not this would be a viable business approach.
Of course, yes, definitely.
All right, so I think we are out of time. Oh, I see there is one more question. Mom, do you have a patent to protect a smart garden, your smart garden? So is that a patented product? Can anyone copy it?
It's not a patented product, so in theory anyone could copy it, yes.
Are you planning to patent it? It seems like that's something that you might want to do.
It definitely would be a sort of a wise choice. But I think that if we were to do it, it would be for the smart version that will be coming soon in a couple of months. For the product that we have right now, it's a little bit less worth it. So I mean, definitely for the next one, for the ones that are to come, I think that we will be patenting our products. Yes.
You said the smart version is coming in the next couple of months. Does that mean that we have any information on that? Or because I mean, the report is going to be produced within the next 2 months. So.
Well, when I say a couple of months, I mean more 4 to 6 months. So I think
okay.
that a little bit too soon to start producing information. But it should come out within the next year, that's for sure.
All right, so we've used up the entire hour, and I know you're busy, everyone's busy, so thank you so much. If you have any additional questions, we can always ask them by email. So send your questions to admin@xculture.org. And what we do to keep our partners not overwhelmed with emails, we create a catalog of frequently asked questions, and then most of the questions, as you can imagine, are repetitive. So if it's a question that's been asked before and we have the answer, we'll just copy and paste the answer. If it's a brand new question, then we will forward it to the company to get an answer, and then we will add that answer to the catalog. So this way, we don't have to call them next time when the same question comes up. And yeah, I assume if you have any business leads or any interesting idea that you want to get feedback on, we will put you in touch with the company, and we'll probably do another webinar towards the end of the project, so you can ask more questions, get some feedback, get some suggestions, and then still incorporate them before the project is over. So thank you so much. It's been very informative. Congratulations to your startup. I know it's very difficult to start something new, and you guys are very brave to try it, and you seem to be successful so far. So good luck, and we'll talk with you regularly, I guess.
Absolutely. And if I can just say thanks again for inviting Odyssey to take part in this webinar. I hope it was as more or less helpful. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer. All right.
Thank you.
Enjoy the day.
Thank you so much. And I'm going to start the live